Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Reema Tendulkar. With me, Sonal Bhutra, and these are the top stories that we're tracking at 1:30 p.m. Stocks edge higher with advances outpacing declines by a wide margin. Utilities, realty, auto lead the charge while IT lags.
KIMS jumps as it gets set to acquire majority stake in Nagpur's Kingsway Hospitals. The company is confident that its own units will lead to good return on capital in the long term, even as costs rise due to acquisitions.
An in-flight network tie-up with Intel SAT and positive commentary continues to lift Nelco. The stock is now up 50% in the month of August. The management is upbeat on in-flight services, says aero connectivity is a fast-growing market.
BLS International soars as Nomura Singapore buys 11 lakh shares in the company. The stock, meanwhile, is 30% away from its 52-week high level. All right, those are the top headlines that we are tracking at this point in time. But look at the markets. It is at the day's high. Nifty is up, and it's up around 330 points actually. And there's no stopping the rally so far, right? At every point, we've seen a big buying number from the lows. And even if we look at the Bank Nifty, that is the one which is leading to this charge today. So Bank Nifty, that one is up almost 1,000 points. So what a move across all the major indices. And as I said, the Bank Nifty is doing really well. You have the auto segment that is doing really well, and even Nifty Realty, Reema. Like, who would have thought that we'll bounce back so strongly and so soon?
Absolutely. We've recovered all of the losses that we had yesterday. In fact, gained 100 points more than that. So on a week-to-date basis, we're up close to about 0.5%. The Friday close on the Nifty was 17,558. So as we speak, we're exactly 100 points above from that level on the Nifty. And by the way, the global markets too are fairly upbeat. European markets are trading with gains of about 1%, and the Dow futures, if you could pull that up for you on your screen, that's also currently higher by close to about 200 points. But we've got a management waiting by.
Oh, yes, we do. So we have Filatex India in focus. It is a manufacturer of polyester yarn. CRISIL is optimistic on the segment as a whole. They say that companies in this sector, the operating margin for them will expand, and strong balance sheets are something that will get good returns as well. We have Madhusudan Bagheria, who's the CMD of the company, joining us now to discuss the outlook and the business plans going forward as well. Mr. Bagheria, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us. Well, you had mentioned earlier that Q1 generally is a seasonally weak quarter for the company. But how have things panned out now? There's a CRISIL note saying that for polyester yarn manufacturers, there will be margin expansion. Is it something that you expect as well? What's happening in the industry as a whole?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, Q1 was weak, and Q2 we expect to be better than Q1. And going forward, Q3 and Q4 will be definitely much better. Normally, best quarters are Q3 and Q4 because of festivals, winters, and these kind of factors. So, but we see a lot of improvement in Q2 also.
How much better, sir, can Q2 be over Q1? And similarly, second half over the first half, and what is driving that according to you?
The first half, there was a problem because of Ukraine-Russia war, and then zero tolerance by China, lockdowns in China. So all the supply disruptions were there. But now those things are getting over. So the demand side is improving. And we should have at least around 100 basis points improvement in the margin in Q2.
So 100 basis points, that would take you up to around 12%?
No, I think last time we had around 9%. So maybe it will take us to 10% in Q2. And then Q3 and Q4, we expect to do 12-13%.
Okay. So what are the spreads looking like? Average polyester yarn spreads, according to the CRISIL report, are at a 5-year high of 29 rupees per kg. What is leading to that right now? What is the raw material situation like?
Raw material situation is okay. Supply side is good. There is no problem. But only because of demand side, Q1 was not that good. But now demand is picking up, so the margins will improve going forward.
Can you give us some guidance on the top line? What will top line for FY23 look like for your company? And if you could break that up in terms of domestic demand, export demand?
See, export demand till Q1 was not that good, but now that is also picking up because of the freight problems. Now the freights have come down and availability of containers is also improved. So overall, I think we should do around 40 to 4,300 of top line. And out of that, around 12 to 14% should be our exports.
Okay, 4,200 to 4,300 crore rupees in terms of top line, out of which 12 to 13% will be exports for you. What is the expansion? Guidance looking like? Your POI expansion project at the Dahej unit started in July. Will it start contributing to your overall operations this year itself?
POI partially was started in July, partially is getting started now. So yes, in Q3 and Q4, that will add to some margin.
What is the amount that you're looking at, and what is the initial capacity utilization?
That is not next 2 months. That will be hardly, it's almost like 10% volume increase.
Okay, and at peak utilization levels, what is the revenue expected from that plant then, whenever it reaches those levels, that is?
It will reach those levels by Q3.
It'll reach 100% capacity utilization levels by Q3?
I mean, maybe not 100, but 90 plus by Q3.
And what is the peak revenue? I missed the number. If you could just repeat it.
The revenue this year would be around 40.
No. The peak revenue from the plant. If you operated full capacity, I missed that number. If you could repeat it.
Then we could, full year, we can do maybe around 4,500 to 4,600.
No, what she meant is from that particular plant.
From the particular plant.
Oh, from that particular, it would be around 400 crores.
400 crores. Okay, got that. So, when we last spoke to you, you told us that you've not been able to fully pass on the input cost price increase as demand is typically weak in Q1. So just wanted to understand what the situation is right now. What is the overall increase in cost? How much of it has you been able to pass on? And are you looking to pass on the rest?
No, we have been able to pass on slightly more than what we did in Q1, but not fully. I think by Q3, we should be able to pass on.
And could you help us with some numbers? How much more by way of a price hike do you need to be able?
I think if we were short by 4 to 5 rupees a kg in passing on, I think 1.5, 2 rupees we'll be able to do now, and rest 3 rupees in Q3.
Okay. So I'm just going back to the point of that new plant coming on stream. I just want to confirm whether I heard it right. You said it will reach peak revenues in this year itself by Q3 is what you're saying. Yes. Okay. All right. So that is about your expansion plans. Generally, if you can tell us, what is the balance sheet looking like for you? If you have more capex plans in place this year or say in the next financial year?
We have some small capex plan in next financial year. But those we will be able to take care mostly through internal accruals. We'll not be taking much debt. And we'll be repaying debts. So this year, our debt to equity should be around 0.25. And going forward, I don't think we should cross any time 0.25 or 0.3, even if we take up some projects.
What is the absolute number of your debt, sir?
Right now, it's around 350 crores term loan.
And you'll be able to reduce it this year is what you're saying?
This year, we'll be able to bring it to around 300.
Okay.
And next year, do you have plans to gradually keep bringing it down?
See, right now, the world is in a lot of turmoil, and we don't want to commit any big expansion plan right now. We'll see as the things improve over the world. If it improves, then we will commit some bigger projects, and that time maybe the debt level can increase slightly.
Okay. Mr. Bhageria, exports are around 12 to 13% as you mentioned earlier. Are those higher margin products for you? Are you getting better spreads there in the export markets?
Yeah, you get slightly better.
How
spreads.
much?
Not too much, maybe 1 or 2%. It's not too big.
Oh, okay.
So if you do about 4,200 to 4,300 crore of revenues this year, we're looking at an annual revenue growth of about 11-12%. Considering that there will be price hikes, could you give us a breakup between what could be the volume growth, what could be the realization improvement?
I think mostly it will be because of volume growth. Realization improvement is not there because the raw material prices are more or less in line with what it was in last year.
Okay, all right, Mr. Bhageria, thanks a lot for joining us. It was a pleasure speaking with you. You gave us a perspective on the industry as well as your company. That's the word coming in from Philatex India. The stock is doing well today. It's up around 3% odd. With that, we'll slip into a short break now. We'll connect with Kush Bora of kushbora.com for some technical trades. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. You're still tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC-TV18. Well, markets are surging anyhow at the day's high, so it's a good time to get a technical check on the markets. We have Kush Bhura of kushbhura.com joining us now. Kush, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us. Well, what's happening with the markets, and is this rally sustainable? What are the charts suggesting?
Hi, very good afternoon. First off, thank you for having me on the show. Well, it took just one day for the markets to recover from the global storm in the teacup, didn't it? Now, what happened there was fundamental news coincided with technical correction, which was long overdue, and this created a very good entry point for traders and investors both, be it on stocks or the indices. Now, before the markets opened, 17,300 put had a very strong base, not only on the weekly expiry, but also on the monthly expiry. And this suggested that markets were looking at a support at around 17,300 zones, even before they opened. And right now, that seems like such a distant point, right? So, that is suggesting that this is a buy on dips market. This is also corroborated by the fact that VIX wasn't able to sustain above 20, which has been historically a resistance zone for the VIX. And today it's fighting hard to sustain over the 19 levels also. So all in all, this remains a buy on dips market. For Nifty, the immediate targets would be 17,800 and 18,000. And assuming that the FII buying will continue after a brief hiatus, Bank Nifty will be in focus for targets of 39,600 and 40,000. And here the stop loss would be 38,800.
Okay, so all indices headed higher, the Nifty to 17,800, 18,000, and the Nifty Bank to levels of 40,000. Well, we're just about 750 points away for the Nifty Bank to hit that level of 40,000. But Kush, afternoon, individual stocks?
Sure. Two picks, both of them on the buy side, as you'd expect. The first one is Titan. The stock has seen a fabulous run up from about 1900 odd levels. And even in yesterday's market, when we were in pretty much everything was in the red, this stock did hit the green zone and closed marginally lower. The strength is imminent, with the move that we're seeing today. Now, with the festive season coming up and a couple of technical points also working in its favor, Titan continues to remain a buy for a target of 2,700, and here the stop loss would be 2,550. The other stock is more of an update. Poonawalla Fincorp. Now, we've been suggesting this stock from I think about 260 odd levels, and it's already up to 305. It's been agnostic to what the market's been doing, and it's had pretty much a decent one-way run-up. So here we expect a short-term target of 320 and a stop loss of 305. This is on an immediate basis. Positionally, this stock could reach higher levels as well.
Okay, all right, Kush. Thanks a lot for joining us and taking us through your technical bets. With that, we move on to our special segment, Midcap Movers. We have Mangalam today with us to take us through the midcaps that are moving around. A lot is happening in the broader markets, Mangalam.
A lot is happening in the broader markets. In fact, we have nearly 6 stocks in the green for 1 in the red. So let me talk about all the ones which are surging. Tata Tele is up almost 20%, locked in the upper circuit. We're doing well with a couple of the sugar names as well. Sakti Sugars, case in point, up 17%. Anant Raj from the broader markets, up 10%. GSW Energy, specialty restaurants also surging about 9% ahead of the holiday tomorrow. Importantly, we do have big names like big gains on names like AGI, Greenpack, Kalyan Jewelers, Nitin Spinners, Steel Strips as well, sitting at the gain of almost 5.5 odd %. And the list is not yet done. We do have Atul Auto, India Cements from the F&O pack is up almost 6 odd %. Railtel, CDSL, a couple of PSUs doing well too, and Nazara Tech is up 5% as well after the acquisition that they announced. The management joined us here and did speak about synergies between the Animal Jam over and their Kidopia vertical too. But among the losers, not too many, far and few in between. In that, the one that stands out is Syrma SGS Tech. Remember, the stock has rallied almost 40-45% since its issue price. So, maybe some bit of profit taking out there. GMR Power and Urban Peninsula Land is down anywhere between 3 to 5 odd %. And then we have names like Brightcom, RCF, IDBI Bank and Zomato under a wee bit of pressure. But by and large, the mood is green.
The mood is green. The screen is green. Thank you very much for that, Mangalam. We'll get into a short break. Here's a quick reminder for our viewers. Well, Money Control Pro's financial freedom offer is back with added benefits. Get a Money Control Pro subscription at net zero cost by claiming exciting offers worth 1,500 rupees from our partner brands. Grab the benefits only on the Money Control app or website.
Hi, welcome back. Well, we are seeing big moves across the board. The mid-cap index is up 1.7%. But let's talk about an important segment, mid-cap spotlight. Reema, you're focusing on BLS International. The stock is up 14% today.
Well, there was a big block deal which took place yesterday where Nomura Singapore bought 11 lakh shares, that's 0.5% of the equity, at a price of 230. Well, post the news, you've seen the stock price climb to levels of 260 with the 15% up move that we have today, but it's still about 30% away from its 52-week high level. Just a couple of points. One, the FII shareholding in BLS International has been slowly creeping up over the last 4 quarters. A year back, in September of 2021, the FII shareholding was just 0.7%. And look at the way it's crept up to almost 4.3% as of the June quarter. And now yesterday, of course, we had news about Nomura Singapore also acquiring stakes. So I suspect the FII shareholding will go up again. The promoter shareholding has been constant at nearly 75%, and the DII shareholding has been nil, 0% for the last couple of quarters. A quick word about the company. Well, they provide visa consular services, and the company's revenues have been growing despite the company not back to fully pre-COVID level in terms of the volumes processed. So in Q1, in the conference call, the company said that we're still processing only 60 to 70% of the volume transaction compared to pre-COVID levels, say of 2019. And that's because certain geographies like China, parts of China, as well as Russia are still semi-closed. And those geographies are operating at 10-15% capacity. So which is why, on the whole, the company is still not back to pre-COVID level in terms of the volumes processed. So once, economies start opening up and travel is back, it's already back. But, that's a trend which is only gaining strength. And plus, this is a debt-free company. It's got cash on its books of close to about 350 crores. So a couple of the other positives.
Oh, yes. So that is working for BLS International today. The other stock which is doing well in trade today is Ashok Leyland, buzzing in trade after its latest LCV launches. Sonia is here with more details. Sonia?
Well, thanks a lot for that. So generally we talk about the medium and heavy commercial vehicle space, which has been doing very well. But the light commercial vehicle space is also booming now, and that's the word coming in from Ashok Leyland. They launched a few new variants of the Bada Dost, which is a very popular product in their LCV range. Now, they are very bullish on the growth in this space in general. Currently, they enjoy about 20% market share, and they're looking to grow this market share to 24 to 25% over the next 1 to 2 years. They are also targeting a growth, they're looking at a growth of 16% for the industry in FY23, and they say that demand has picked up quite a bit in the LCV segment, not just from infrastructure as well as the capital goods space, but it's also picked up from the logistics and e-commerce segment, which is a big growth driver for this particular LCV category. They said that they expect a 10 to 12% compounded annual growth rate for the LCV segment over the next few years. Let's listen in to what the management told us earlier.
TIV growth is beyond our expectation. We expected TIV to grow at about 10 to 12%, but actually post-COVID, I am seeing a huge growth, which is growing at about 16 to 18%. So I am expecting that the year end would be around 16% growth in TIV segment, which is much better than pre-COVID levels. Market share is about 20.3% in LCV 2 to 3.5 ton segment. And of course, the launches will add to it. For LCV, we are targeting about 24 to 25% share, and industry would go at around 16% this year. And CAGR of next 3 to 5 years would be around 10 to 12%.
Moving on to some other corporate opinion, here's getting you an excerpt from an interesting conversation with Nadir Godrej, chairman of Godrej Industries. Our colleague Shilpa Ranipeta spoke to him about demand trends, the housing finance business, and more.
There's been a little bit of deficiency in the monsoon, but overall it's not all that bad. And we also expect very good rabi crops, because in the last few years the monsoon has extended quite late, and that's very good for the rabi crops, but it's very variable. So the kharif crops have been, for the last 2 or 3 years, some degree of damage, but I don't think rural demand is all that bad.
Okay. What about the impact of inflation, though? Because not just your consumer business, it's also had an impact on your agri-business as well, with livestock, the cost there also going up. So are you seeing any signs of easing on that front?
Yes, we saw that the July inflation was lower than the June inflation. And commodity prices, which shot up after the beginning of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, have come down considerably.
Right.
And Indian inflation is largely influenced by commodity prices.
Right.
So by March, April, everyone is expecting inflation numbers in India to be quite reasonable. And so we don't have to worry much on that front. In Godrej Consumer Products, there was a little bit of an effect, but things are picking up now, even for that business. Godrej Properties, things are picking up.
Right. So I want to understand about Godrej Capital also, your newest business. You've also, Godrej Industries has also upped its stake. So far, what's the progress been? What areas are going to be your immediate focus?
In the beginning, it's mostly housing finance, but later on there may be other things. It's growing quite rapidly, and we will continue to invest in it for a little while. And ultimately, maybe in 2 or 3 years, we may consider an IPO.
Right, wonderful. So for Godrej Capital, you're saying in 2 to 3 years you will consider an IPO.
We'll consider. Yeah, it depends on how it progresses.
Right. And going to one last business, which is also properties, I wanted to understand how's the revival there been? Also, the consumer sentiment that is improving. Are you seeing that also coming into the properties? Are people buying more homes? How's the business going?
The property business is doing very well.
Right.
Yeah.
So finally,
demand is good.
So finally, wanted to understand about a lot of speculation talk has been going on about the split in the Godrej business. Any update that you could give us on that front?
There is no further developments, no comment.
Also, any timeline or when we can expect something?
We don't know.
All right, that is an interesting chat coming in from Godrej Industries. But take a look at the markets, and there are some stellar moves that we are seeing in a couple of names. So Titan, that stock is at the day's high. Actually, that buying just continues. The Nifty is up 345 points. We have Titan, which is at the day's high. The Tata Steel, which is surging in how. We have M&M Financials from the broader markets doing well. Even Ramco Cements, for that matter, is higher in trade. Shilpa was just talking about Godrej Properties with Mr. Godrej. So that stock too is at the day's high. It's up 2.5% as we speak. Realty also definitely is the flavor of the moment. The other sector that is doing really well is the IT space. That was one of the biggest losers in trade yesterday. So we have Tech Mahindra, which is up 4% at this point in time. And something like an ICICI Bank, Bajaj Twins from the Nifty pack, they continue to move higher, and that is something which is supporting Nifty big time. So on that note, we'll take your leave on this edition of Midcap Radar. Stay tuned, Mutual Fund Corner, when we return.